The Storm in Beijing, The Trajectory of Two Dreams. Chapter 1. Entering the City at the First Heart. In Beijing in summer, the sun shines through the mottled shadows of the old hutongs. Yangshan Hutong is still the same old look, with grey brick walls, swaying telephone poles, shouting, and bicycle bells intertwined into a melody belonging to the old city. Li Chen had just graduated from junior high school and grew up in a large compound near Hauerhe. Every morning, he pushes open the creaking iron door, walks out of the house, and sets out on the road to the bus company's training base. Your family must be very rich, Yangshan Hutong is so central, there must be several suites at home. That's what old neighbors often ask. Li Chen just smiled, but he understood in his heart that there were 3 generations of people living in the dilapidated bungalow in the courtyard of his home, and his life was tight. At the same time as Li Chen, Zhang Hao was from the countryside. He was a worker, peasant, and soldier cadet, underwent rigorous training, and later entered the procuratorate, first as a bailiff for a year, and now as a prosecutor. These 2 young people represent different Beijings and reflect different destinies. Chapter 2. The Streets and the Courtrooms. Li Chen finally completed a year of rigorous bus driver training and obtained a driver's license. Every day shuttling through the streets and alleys of Beijing, he carefully memorizes every route and every stop. Although this job is not gorgeous, he firmly believes that only by being down to earth can he go far. Zhang Hao's office is located in the Procuratorate building in Zikan, and the neat case file and the cold sound of the gavel remind him of his responsibilities every day. He always fights for fairness and justice in the courtroom, not letting go of any detail. A chance encounter, the 2 greeted each other in front of the bus stop. Different backgrounds, different worlds, but they meet in this city. Chapter 3. Hidden Secrets. The story of Li Chen's family is far more complicated than it seems. My ancestors were craftsmen in old Beijing, but they were suppressed during the Cultural Revolution and moved to this inconspicuous hutong. Others think that our family has a house and a yard, but in fact, they are all old houses, and there are many stories of hardships hidden in them. Li Chen's grandfather often said this. On the other hand, Zhang Hao's family is a standard revolutionary family, and strict discipline and belief have supported him all the way. The 2 had a chance party, and Li Chen heard that Zhang Hao was investigating a corruption case, and behind the case, a certain old city construction businessman he was familiar with was involved. Chapter 4. The Storm Rises. One day, a bus braked unexpectedly, and the passengers attacked it. Li Chen calmly handled the crisis and became a hero in the eyes of everyone. However, the pressure behind him also followed, and some interest groups began to target him. During the investigation, Zhang Hao discovered the collusion between the businessman and the police. He decided to take the risk of making the evidence public, but he got into trouble. The paths of the 2 men begin to intertwine, tangled in the light and shadow of the city. Chapter 5. Friendship and Betrayal. Li Chen and Zhang Hao became friends and supported each other. Li Chen helped Zhang Hao inquire about information on the street, and Zhang Hao used the power of the law to protect Li Chen. But just when the case was about to come to light, Zhang Hao was framed by the forces behind him and temporarily lost his position as a prosecutor. Li Chen decided to stand up and protect the city in his own way, fighting the darkness with Zhang Hao. Chapter 6. Light in the Face of Adversity. In the predicament, the 2 led their neighbors to organize community forces, hold legal lectures and rights protection actions, and awaken more people to pay attention to the truth. Li Chen's bus became a mobile lecture hall, and Zhang Hao's investigation materials circulated in the community. Finally, the haze of corruption is torn apart, the officials involved are investigated, and the truth gradually emerges. Chapter 7. A New Journey. After the case was over, Zhang Hao regained his position as a prosecutor, and Li Chen was also rated as an excellent driver. The 2 were on the streets of the city, looking at the bustling crowd, and their hearts were full of hope. We all come from this old city, and no matter how difficult it is, we must protect its purity. Zhang Hao said. Li Chen nodded, the paths are different, but the goal is the same, to become a better version of yourself. Chapter 8, The Heartbeat of the City. Time flies, and Beijing has entered a new era of development. The old alley renovation plan is in full swing, and Yangshan Alley has also been included in the key relocation list. Li Chen stood at the mouth of the alley, watching the excavator slowly approach his family's grey brick courtyard. The old trees were uprooted, and the spring couplets on the wall were blown away by the wind. His heart tightened, as if some kind of vein had been severed. There is compensation for the demolition, but it also means that we may never be able to return to this place, he said to Zhang Hao. Zhang Hao nodded, but felt uneasy. Urban renewal is true, but too many things are not transparent. Recently, I have received several anonymous reports that some property developers have colluded with the Yura to take the opportunity to swallow up people's property rights. In this report letter, a company called Jingsheng Land was mentioned, and Li Chen was no stranger to this company. He often saw the company's luxury billboards on bus lines, and he also took several people in suits and leather shoes to the site of a plot near his home to survey the site. Chapter 9 The Fog of Real Estate. Zhang Hao privately contacted several old colleagues and found out about the financial transactions between Jingsheng Land and several local dignitaries. The problem is that before he could hand over the clues to his superiors, a key witness suddenly accidentally drowned. Li Chen also heard more rumors in the neighborhood. A household had just signed a demolition agreement, and the house was quietly set on fire the next day, and no one investigated the case. An old man refused to move out, and was diagnosed with mental abnormality and sent to a nursing home. This is not urban renewal, this is purge and eviction. We can't do nothing. Li Chen gritted his teeth. I can help you find witnesses from the community. Many people are too scared to speak out, but it doesn't mean they haven't seen anything. Zhang Hao said, you have to be mentally prepared, this time. Maybe it's going to be even bigger. Chapter 10 Recordings on the Bus. One day, Li Chen accidentally picked up two men in suits on the morning bus, and they exchanged heads at the back of the car, obviously not realizing the existence of the driver. The land is done, and tomorrow the approval of the Urban Renewal Bureau will come down. Lao Zhang's side can't stop it, but don't panic, we have a photo of his son in our hands, and he doesn't dare to move. These words made Li Chen sit on pins and needles. He had a plan to transfer the surveillance recordings and send them to Zhang Hao's desk anonymously. This recording became a breakthrough in the whole investigation that followed. Zhang Hao mobilized old acquaintances and media reporters to find out that billions of funds were involved in the laundering of billions of funds behind the entire demolition, and there was even a clue pointing directly to the chairman of a listed company. But at this time, Zhang Hao was suspended for investigation because of illegal investigation of unauthorized cases. Chapter 11 The Voices of the Bottom. Li Chen resolutely stood up. He took his neighbors to record his own narration and organized a small street photography exhibition called Keeping Memory, which displayed the appearance of the hutong and the stories of the residents before the demolition next to the bus stop. Media attention and network forwarding caused heated discussions for a while. Yangshan hutong is not a commodity, it is the root of the memory of generations of Beijingers. We are not against reform, but against deception and oppression. In the end, the local government had to face up to the pressure of public opinion, suspend the project of Jingsheng Land, and review the relevant departments. Zhang Hao was also rehabilitated in public opinion and returned to the procuratorate. Chapter 12 The Last Stop. Zhang Hao sat in the courtroom and watched Chairman Jingsheng, who once owned a mansion, bow his head and plead guilty. You once said that urban development can't wait for anyone. But I think, if everyone is scattered, what is left of development? After Zhang Hao said this, he slowly walked out of the courtroom and looked up at the familiar blue sky. On that day, Li Chen stopped the bus at the terminal of the old alley. When the passengers got off the bus, he glanced back at the note on the seat. It was left by Zhang Hao. I have time to drink a bowl of bean juice and talk about the appearance of the new alley. Epilogue. What's left behind? Cities are still changing. Although Yangshan Hutong was demolished, part of its original appearance was preserved and transformed into the Old Town Memory Museum, and Li Chen and Zhang Hao became volunteer interpreters. Li Chen still drives the bus from Nanjing to Beijing every day. Zhang Hao is busy with one case after another, and is no longer afraid of wind and waves. They didn't change the world, but they kept their part of Beijing. Not everyone will be a hero, but they choose to get off at that station, get on at that station, that's their story.